Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to thank everyone who's subscribed, everyone who's liked or commented on past videos, anyone who's a returning subscriber, or just even a returning viewer. So, I have been wanting to start a little sub topic, sub channels, playlist, let's say. Looking into these AITA stories. Am I the asshole? I find them very intriguing, very thought provoking, and it's usually good for sparking good debates and conversations amongst my friendship group. Now, a little bit about myself. I am the first child in my nuclear family. I'm my parents' first child. I'm the first daughter in my nuclear family. On one side of the family, my maternal side, I'm the first grandchild as well. And all of that we'll probably cover in another video another day because there's pros and cons to that, guys. But it's just to give you some context from what my birth situation is when I'm looking at this story. Okay? So let's dive right in. Let's dive right in. I will be very intrigued to know what people think in the comments, okay? So this says, am I the asshole for not taking my father's minor children into consideration when I sued him for the inheritance he stole from me? Ooh, juicy already. My mom died when I, 22-year-old female, was 10 years old. And in her will, she left me an inheritance of more than 100,000. My dad was left in charge of it, but after he remarried, him and his wife wanted to start a business together. And they used the money mom left me to open it. Dad and I argued about it at the time, but I was 15 and he kept insisting it was good for the whole family and how it was better used to help everyone than being thrown away on random stuff when I turned 18. So, firstly, I want to say very unfortunate to have the loss of someone like your mother in such a formative stage of her childhood and development. I think it's absolutely wild to me what her dad's trying to do and how he's trying to gaslight her. But it's very apparent that she matured very quickly. She had to with a father like that. And in the space of her mom passing at 10, her father's got remarried and found a new partner. And there's nothing wrong with that aspect. But by this point, she's now 15, having to argue with her father about misusing her inheritance, because that's what it is, misuse. Let's carry on. She says, our relationship was over before I moved out of his house at 18. I had made his and his wife's life miserable for stealing from me, and once I was out of there, I looked into how I could get that money back. I pressed charges against him for stealing from me, and I sued him for the money. Before I carry on, it sounds like she was acting out while she lived with him from 15 to 18 after what sounds like he stole her inheritance. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem because clearly her father disrespected her. And I know some people think, oh, parents can't disrespect kids, but this was wildly disrespectful. And if you don't think it was disrespectful of her, it's disrespectful of his deceased first wife's wishes. Let's carry on. I had the support of my entire extended family on my maternal side, of course, and you have my support as well, and some on my paternal side. Now, the fact that some people on her father's side support her, that is clearly in the wrong. Anybody who thinks otherwise, please do let me know in the comments below. I know we haven't gotten through all of it, but even at this point, I feel like everyone can tell this is absolutely wild for the father to do. But let's carry on. Maybe he redeems himself. But I was told by others on the paternal side to consider my dad's other kids and the devastation, oh no, that kind of financial upheaval could bring. What about the financial disaster it's causing to her to not have the inheritance she was promised and expecting, which could give her a fantastic start in life? Nobody seems to care about that. She rightly ignored those comments. I knew waiting would prevent me from ever getting the money, and I honestly did not care about his family's financial security after being stolen from. Okay, so by that, I guess maybe the implication from some of the paternal side of her family is that, well, why don't you wait till the dad's business does well enough that he can pay you back XYZ? Is she an investor? This was stolen money. She's not an investor. Her dad didn't come to her with decorum, decency, and ask for an investment. He took money that was left to him to manage for her as it is her inheritance. Sometimes family will just say the wildest things. She carries on. It was a long process, and I needed to return to court a few times because he, her father, was just like, I can't pay. I don't have the money anymore. Surprise, surprise. But is your business doing well? Why can you not pay at this point? Because essentially, bear in mind, he took the money at 15. She's now 18. She's now left his house. So 3 years since you stole the money and used it for your business. How can you not pay back the loan? If I was an investor, what if I was needing my money to start showing some ROI, some return on my investment? Okay. So, in the end, in the end, they were forced to give up the business and it was sold by the court to pay her the money back. And he also had to pay additional out of his paycheck. So they were garnishing his wages, which then prompted him to empty their savings so his wages wouldn't be garnished anymore. So you had savings and you didn't want to pay her. I can understand his savings might not be up to 100K, but you didn't even offer to say, let me pay you 10K in the next 10 years, 20 in the next five. Mm-mm-mm. By the time I got it back, I was 100% done and past the point where we could ever reconcile. I don't blame you. He made me fight so hard for what was legally mine, and he stole money her mom had left her so that her dad was using that money to support his new family. She states, my relationship with some of her dad's side is not so strong anymore, and they think it was wrong that I focused only on what he did and not on the effects for the kids. Are they her kids though? They may be her half siblings, step siblings, no, half siblings, but they're not her children. I mostly don't talk to those family members now, but they ask me how I feel zero guilt for it when the kids are innocent and are still my siblings technically. That they would have thought I'd want better for them. Again, why are the half siblings her responsibility? Why doesn't anybody feel for her that she was stolen from? Why doesn't anybody feel for her past, her mom who has passed on, that tried to leave her daughter in a stronger position? This is all very one sided support with nobody trying to understand where she's coming from. I don't feel bad, she says. I never have. But am I the asshole for not taking the kids into consideration? Is that something I should have done? No, 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 no. I feel like that's just really unfair to me and locks me into never being paid back. Absolutely correct. I don't think I owe those kids that. You owe them nothing. Absolutely nothing. Before we see some of the comments, I just want to say you're not the asshole. Not at all. You don't owe your half siblings anything. I mean, yeah, if you want to help them now that you've been paid back, if at any later point in life you feel so touched to do so, if you use your inheritance and you're financially stable and your half siblings reach out to you and you have some sort of relationship with them that warrants that, okay. But I think we're confusing apples and oranges. Yes, they are both fruits, but these are two separate matters. The money was left to her. It was for her future and her future alone. No one else has the right to misuse that. And that's what this was, misuse. You're not the asshole. You don't owe them kids nothing. You don't owe your dad nothing, nor his new family. What do they say? You didn't owe, so prestigious Lime 8242 says, you didn't owe your father's new family your inheritance. That money was left to you for a reason and he had no right to use it for anything else. It sucks that the kids are affected, but that's on him, not you. Exactly. And also, let's imagine a scenario where her mother was not able to leave her anything. He would still have to raise the kids with the new wife he's married. So, did you get married because you were always planning to use your daughter's inheritance? That's crazy. You should have married this new person knowing you would have to care for your new family and care for your first child, irrespective of the inheritance. Loads of likes for that comment. And then Dono2128 says, totally this. They're his kids and his theft is the cause of all their problems, not OP. Well done, OP, for fighting back. Stin555 says, agreed. Not only did he, the OP's father, steal OP's inheritance, but if we want to be technical, he committed felony theft. Exactly. OP would have been well within their rights to investigate the possibility of pursuing criminal charges. But the sheer audacity of the paternal side of the family. My relationship with some of my dad's side is not so strong anymore, and they think it was wrong that I focused only on what he did and not on the effects for the kids. I'm sorry, but OP was a kid when they lost their mom. What about the effect and long lasting impact this had on them? Exactly. There is no concern for OP, the first child in this family dynamic and this whole macabre of a story. I mostly don't talk to those family members now, but they ask me how I feel zero guilt for how I feel zero guilt for it when the kids are innocent and are still my siblings technically. How do they feel zero guilt for OP? Their 100K inheritance was stolen. Thank you. This comment highlights the fact that concern is being expressed for children of the second marriage, but nobody is expressing concern for the sole child from the first marriage and partnership, where this child is bereft of her mother and has a thieving father who has gone on and married a new woman who is happy to thief from the child of his previous marriage. They quote OP in saying that they would have thought I'd want better for them. And again, common sense would and should dictate that they would want better for OP. But then again, common sense is not so common. I like that this commenter Stin 555 really calls out the paternal side of OP's family because very problematic, very problematic, very problematic. And I like this person straight to the point. Ask dad's side of the family how much they chipping in to help the kids. Yeah, because if you guys are also concerned, help the kids out your damn selves, okay? Because OP was a kid themselves who was taken advantage in their childhood, in their teenage years by her father. And only after she was old enough was she then able to get their money back. Crazy. Actually, I don't know if OP is, yeah, she said she was female. Thank you. I got confused by this comment. Okay, so it says, exactly, all right. I would tell those family members that they can give him their money if they're so concerned about the kids. It's not up to OP to finance their siblings' future. Not at all. Exactly this. If OP's dad stole this money robbing a bank, let's say, and the bank and police press charges, he's going to prison and wouldn't be there to take care of his younger kids at all. Should the bank he stole from feel guilt and say, oh, damn, the man has little kids, we shouldn't press charges and make the man go to prison? No, they don't think this. They make his freaking self pay for it. He committed a crime and it's his fault his kids are hurt by this, not the bank's fault. It is no different for OP. NATA, not the asshole. He stole from OP. He needed to pay for that crime and pay it back. His kids are hurt by his own actions, not OP. OP didn't choose to have them kids. OP didn't choose to get remarried. For all we know, dad could have just stayed a single father and raised his daughter from his first marriage and just given her inheritance was his time. He was in guardianship of the inheritance. It wasn't even for him to use. Otherwise, his bereaved wife would have left him the money. And, I just think it's crazy that he was like, let me use your inheritance to better the whole family with no clear plan of ever returning the money or paying OP back. Because fair enough, if you came to OP and said, as an investor, invest and I will pay you back, okay, sign paperwork. He just wanted to thief the money and keep going. I still agree with your comment. The audacity of those people criticizing OP for wanting to fight for her own inheritance. Those same people who said that OP should have thought about her siblings would be the first ones hiring a lawyer if their money. Exactly. Exactly. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. These same people would be like, oh, you got slapped on the left side of your face, turn the right side. But they wouldn't do the same. They'd be returning the slap. So why would they expect OP to be a better person than they would be? And it's not even being a better person, but why would you expect OP to do different to what you would do if you were in the same situation, if you were in OP shoes? I would do exactly what OP did if I was ever in their situation. If you're so concerned about them kids, give them your money, not mine. My mom didn't work so hard her whole short life so that some other lady's kids could have a slightly nicer life. Exactly. Exactamundo. This other comment says, not the asshole, go ahead and cut off the relatives defending him as well. Instead of loaning him money themselves, they decided to hound you over money that was stolen from you. And OP said, that's a step I've been working up to. At this point, I don't think they care for me at all. All they care about is dad's family. OP, you're seeing sense. The light has been lit. This has all happened for a reason. You need to cut them people off. 100%. And I like that people are supporting OP, saying you're doing an excellent job. Continue down the path you know is right. 100%. This comment says, you're not the asshole. Your inheritance was stolen. You were simply taking back what was rightfully yours, regardless of the ripple effect. Remember, he made the choice, not you. OP says, he did. And I feel like some of his family are unwilling to blame him. Instead, they want to blame me and make me responsible for a family I didn't create. I love how sensible OP is. I like that OP is able to see through all the BS This comment says, think of it in this term. Your inheritance from your mom was meant for you and only you, her flesh and blood. Your half siblings may be innocent, but why should your mom's money be for their benefit when they are not related to your mom at all? OP says, I pointed that out and I was told to think of it like I'm helping them because they're my flesh and blood. But I didn't make them or agree to any responsibility for them. Bars upon bars. This comment says, stay away from those family members. Also tell them to loan him 100 grand if they feel so bad. Bet no one jumps on that train. Oh, I can promise they won't, but I'll use that for sure if they say anything about it again. Excellent, OP. Excellent. And I'm really glad you shared this with us. Your dad didn't care about his minor child when he stole from you. Exactly. Your mom trusted him to save that money for you, her daughter, not the new family he made after she died. Your dad's new wife can leave her children whatever she has, not what is rightfully yours. Congratulations on honoring your mother's wishes. I am very sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. And I'm pretty certain everybody is on board, I would hope. If you are someone that disagrees, please let me know in the comment why you disagree. I'm just scrolling to see if anybody is on the dad's side, and I don't think anybody would be. So before we wrap up, let's look at this comment that says, when your father decided to have a new family, that was a choice and essentially his right to do so. Exactly. I agree with that. He's allowed to remarry, have future kids. Excellent. What choice and right he did not have was anything to do with your inheritance. All those people who wanted you to consider how you suing him impacted his kids, how many of them cared about how his theft impacted you? I mean, truly cared, not lip service. You are good. I have a half brother I have only spoken to about 10 times and seen about 4 times. My life is no worse for it. I am sure yours won't be either. Start blocking people who are bringing you noise and you will find inner peace. Fantastic. That I think is a great place to end this on. Couple more comments, but OP, not the asshole. This is a situation of a terrible father. I salute you for putting through with the BS, moving out of his house, and suing him as soon as you legally could as an adult. And I commend you for persevering and winning this case. And I'm pretty sure your poor mother that's passed on and wasn't able to be with you since the age of 10 equally supports the choices you've made. I can say that with full conviction. And everyone on the internet essentially agrees. Not the asshole, not the asshole. Just not the asshole. So, yeah. All right, guys, let me know in the comments if anyone disagrees. This is a safe space. I side with OP, but if you have a clear reason why you disagree, do let us know in the comments. If you agree and you have another take on why you agree, also let us know in the comment. If you just want to say you agree and you want to put down in the comments NTA, not the asshole, please feel free to get engaged. I'm going to try and find another interesting AITA story if you have one you'd like to cover. I mean, this was quite a straightforward one for me to just get started. But that's the video for today, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.